Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So we recently heard the current Social Security Commissioner in Frank Bisignano come out and saying that they're currently exploring different ideas to extend the solvency of Social Security, which right now looks like it is going to run out of money come 2032 or 2033. One of the options currently on the table, or before at least, was raising the full retirement age from 67 up to 69 or even 70. Well, after they received some bad press, they are now saying that's off the table and is not being currently considered, that they are not looking into cutting Social Security benefits. Well, in today's video, we are going to be covering four different ideas, or a few different ideas currently in Congress that are being considered. But before we go ahead and dive into it for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into for today. So once again, recently, the Trump administration and the current Social Security Commissioner in Frank Bisignano said they are currently looking into exploring different ideas as far as extending the future solvency of Social Security. They were throwing around the full retirement age, saying first that they were looking into perhaps extending that up to 69. Then after that, kind of withdrawing from those comments, walking back on those remarks. Well, in today's video, we are going to be exploring a few different ideas currently in Congress that would in fact extend the future solvency of Social Security, and one of these plans actually increasing benefits for all Social Security beneficiaries by $2,400. So let's go ahead and dive right into it for today with this first plan. It is by John Larson. It is called the Social Security 2100 Act. What it would do, first off, it would increase benefits by 2% across the board for all Social Security beneficiaries for the first time in 52 years. It would also be improving the cost of living adjustment by switching that over to the CPIE. It would be increasing benefits to boost lower income seniors. So basically what they would be doing is it would be taking the special minimum benefit, which right now is actually below the federal poverty line, and they would be boosting that to 25% above the federal poverty line. That would work out to an increase of right around $500 per month if you currently receive the special minimum benefit. Also, in addition to that, it would improve benefits for middle income widows and widowers from 2-income households. It would restore student benefits up to age 26 for the dependent children of disabled, deceased, or retired workers. It would also increase access to benefits for children living with grandparents or other relatives. It would end the 5-month waiting period to receive disability benefits. It would increase benefits by an additional 5% for the most elderly who have been receiving benefits for 15 years or more. So as you can see, the rest of them up there on the screen, what all it would do. It does a lot in this bill, and how exactly would they pay for that? They would ensure that millionaires and billionaires paid their fair share by applying FICA to earnings above $400,000, with those extra earnings counted towards benefits at a reduced rate, and would close the loophole of avoiding FICA taxes and receiving a lower rate on investment income by adding an additional 12.4% net investment income tax only for taxpayers making over $400,000 per year. So basically, you would only be taxed more if you earn above $400,000 per year. That's only right around 5 to 8% of Americans. So very few Americans would be impacted by this bill. Now, the second bill currently on the table being considered is one by Senator Bernie Sanders. It's the Social Security Expansion Act. First off, it will extend the solvency of Social Security for 75 years by once again requiring the wealthiest American households to pay their fair share of taxes. So basically what they would do is lift the FICA tax for all income above $250,000 per year. So in John Larson's bill, the Social Security 2100 Act, it was $400,000 per year. In the Social Security Expansion Act, it's $250,000 per year. They would also be increasing benefits across the board by $2,400 a year. That's a big one there. They would also be increasing the cost of living adjustments by switching that over to the CPIE. And once again, they would be requiring millionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share into Social Security. He would also be improving the special minimum benefit to 25% above the federal poverty line. He would be restoring student benefits up to age 22 for children of disabled or deceased workers. And then finally, they would be combining the Disability Insurance Trust Fund with the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund. So those are two of the biggest bills that would really increase benefits across the board for many Social Security beneficiaries. And in addition to that, also extend the solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund. Another one that's a little bit more simple but does not increase benefits is one by Representatives Boyle and Whitehouse. Their bill is called the Social Security and Medicare Fair Share Act. And basically what they would do here is they would first off preserve Medicare and Social Security while safeguarding benefits. And so basically how they would do that is they would require taxpayers with over $400,000 in income to contribute a fair share to Social Security by lifting the Social Security tax cap to ensure that no matter the source of their income, high-income taxpayers would pay the same tax rate on their income exceeding that threshold. And they would also require taxpayers with incomes above $400,000 to contribute more to Medicare, so they'd be increasing the rate for income above $400,000 by 1.2% and ensure that wealthy owners of pass-through businesses like hedge funds and private equity firms with more than $400,000 in annual income cannot avoid Medicare taxes. Now, once again, in this bill, you're not going to be receiving any type of increase. It's not going to increase your benefits by $2,400 per year like it does in Bernie Sanders' Social Security Expansion Act. But what it would do, it would extend the solvency of the trust fund. That way, come 2033, we're not facing that automatic benefit cut of 24%. Now, another idea, this one actually happens to be bipartisan. It's not yet in the form of a bill. It's only an idea right now in Congress that they're trying to pitch to different Democrats and Republicans. Right now, the leaders of the bill, we have one leader that's a Republican in Bill Cassidy, and then we have another leader that is a Democrat in Tim Kaine. They're trying to recruit members from both sides. Basically, what the idea is here, according to The Hill, is they'd be taking $1.5 trillion in investments. They'd be taking $300 billion per year. Over the course of 5 years, as they mentioned there, that money would be invested into stocks, bonds, and other investments. And Cassidy said it would be held in escrow for 70 years. And at that point, the Treasury Department would be responsible for making of the payments for those 75 years, at which point the fund would pay back the Treasury Department and use its remaining funds to supplement Social Security payments, according to the senators. Now, obviously, there is going to be a risk there, because if they take $1.5 trillion and invest that over the course of 75 years, and we don't see the same return that we have been over the past 100 years, that same 8 to 10% return, and we actually see, no return at all, or perhaps we see like a negative return, then at that point, we're going to be losing a lot of money. So obviously, there is a huge risk there if we don't see that same return. But again, at the end of the day, something needs to be done. This is a bipartisan idea, so let's hope they can get enough Republicans and Democrats on board with this idea, pass it, and then hopefully we see a good return. This is something that other countries do, and it works well for them, so let's hope it works well for us. But with that said, leave your thoughts and comments below. Which of these plans do you like the most, and do you have faith in our lawmakers in DC that they can get something done to avoid that solvency date taking place and that 24% cut that would be taking place come 2032 or 2033? Leave your thoughts and comments below, but that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.